Disclaimer. The information and education material contained herein is meant to promote the general understanding and dialogue of GANs processing. Such information is not meant or intended to serve as a substitute for a healthcare professional's clinical training, experience, or judgment.
Rick, there is no sound.
Yeah, okay. I have sound on my side and on live stream. Let's see what I can do here. Okay, let's see if this works. Can you let me know? Could you hear that?
Nope.
Share it then. Can you hear that? No?
Nope.
Okay. Let's see here. I think I'm going to have to restart my Zoom here or something because something didn't get connected properly. I don't see why. I think I need to restart. So you'll become host, Mr. Keshe, as I restart, and you'll make me host again when I come back in. Okay, let me try that. Sorry about that.
Hi, Rick. You're back.
Yeah, I'm back, just getting set up here, and let's see how it goes. Let me try a share screen and I'll play something. We'll see if you can hear it. Okay, let me try this.
Yes. Okay. It's
Okay,
done.
good. So you couldn't hear the disclaimer as well then, I guess.
No, the disclaimer was done. It's perfect.
Oh, it was okay? It was just the other one? Okay, we'll kind of pick it up from there then. Okay, I have to go back on to live stream. Which I'll do. Still recording with that. That'll have to be fixed up later. Okay, I think we'll just carry on from there, and I'll play the video transmutation and the health benefits. So let's begin.
The transmutation of the physicality and the completion of it need what we call cosmic rays. Our team have built the system, are building the system, and we feel the existence of cosmic rays. Once you start touching cosmic rays, you become of a different creature of understanding of the universe. Not you don't get heads and tails, but creature in knowledge, creature in understanding of the truth about the creation. A lot of detachment, but a lot of attachment to the new understanding, to the understanding. So, as I said, we have started the transmutation process, and we will gradually, in the next few weeks, test expansion of it, how and what we can do, and then come to the full transmutation. For us, once we establish one, is how we can move the other 7 billion. How we can bring that knowledge across to 7 billion. That no one abuses on it, and everybody has access to the same thing. In a present situation, you get on a plane in Linz, you come off the plane in New York, you had a cancer here, you have a cancer there. You had a ILS here, you still have ILS there. Nothing changes in your position. But with this technology, it does. Because we expand the energy package, which is within the center of you, which has to cross your body, and then make an envelope that our technology can pick up that envelope and transmute you on the present communication lines of what you call mobile phones to a position destination. In the future, there is no mobile phone. We learn it through our, what we call, dimension of the energy inside us. Then, in this position, when the field crosses, it's like when you put, in a way, materials in the microwave. Nowadays, they put tomatoes through a special rays that they don't rot anymore so fast. We put bodies through MRI, and we see the field shows us where the tumor is, where the damage to the brain is, where you broke on the leg. We put you through CT scan in a massive amount of X-rays taken in layers from your body. We see what is the shape of you inside you. Now, instead of rays coming from outside to take these scans and pictures, now your soul going from inside out to create that envelope. The way you go for radiotherapy, radiation therapy, They see a tumor, they see something, and they target radiation on it. And they say, we destroyed the cell, we irradiated it, and it's done. We do it in the nuclear industry quite a lot. Radiating create conditions of explosion or whatever. So we deliver energy to it, and we change it, and the doctor says, you had the radiation therapy, and the tumor is gone. Or we killed it, and then in time the body will get rid of it. Now the radiation comes from your soul, going out, and the tumor is on the way. The broken leg is on the way. The broken heart is on the way. The emotion of pain is on the way as it radiates out to create that envelope. Now you understand how it works. Today, you go to a hospital to get radiation therapy for your cancer. Now you get the radiation therapy from your own soul. But the emotion which created it is connected to the same center. It's not that you get rid of that tumor. You solve the reason why that tumor created by the same sun, by the same structure which radiates out. Because if there is a fault in the envelope, what you put in it will fall out in transportation. It has to be perfection. So when the body of the man, when the soul of the man expands to that position, like the radiation therapy, crosses everything. And everything has to be balanced. It brings balance through the energies of it. And it knows what it should be because the master on the head, which created it through emotion, says, there is a disbalance here. I used to hate, now I love. And love was a cornerstone of the creation. So if you create a tumor out of hate, it has no balance to sit. The envelope has to be complete. Many of you came to Linz and we put you through it, and I could not tell you this. You have a problem. I cannot go anywhere. It doesn't work on me. What is wrong inside you through the emotion and the physicality. The beauty of it is we cannot transmute a broken envelope. We cannot send because the fields will unbalance and they move and they create other problems. You only can travel when the soul, the envelope is clean, packed, sealed. Nothing can fall out. Nothing can fall in. It doesn't got a weak point that it can get torn and tear apart in transportation. It's you who makes that envelope, not us. We create a condition that conditions it to expansion of it. Go back to all my teachings. I always said, solar system or the universe can expand only to the size and the fields that its environment allows it to expand to. Because the other fields control it. The other fields sit on top of it because they need their existence. Now in our systems, we control that condition of containment. And once we control it, because it's on the magnetic field, because it's on the line of the field of the physicality, we can shoot you down the mobile line. I cough, you hear. I laugh, you hear. But you cannot see if I frown. You cannot see if I twinkle. In the plasma technology, the twinkle and the frown, everything is there. You go in with the cancer, you come out if the process is completed without the cancer. You go in with mental condition, in transmutation, you come without it. And if you have that problem, you cannot travel. If you have a conflict inside you, you cannot create that envelope. I sat, I watched, people came in and went out. I could not do. It didn't happen to me. There is something wrong inside you. That does not allow your soul to create that block. You have a different understanding. You have come in with a mean thoughts, as I call it. I've come here. I don't believe in it, but I want to show that it doesn't work. You deceived yourself, not the system. The guy before you came in with a pure heart, with understanding what he wants to do. And the one after you, how come you don't fit in? The problem is you, not the system. The problem is your integrity of understanding the totality. So we had to test that when we put somebody with a cancer in New York, lands in Linz, does he have a cancer anymore? Or he wants to keep that cancer. There is a condition that he has to prove to himself psychologically. Or she has a breast cancer that he has to do it psychologically. She hates someone. That hate has to transfer to love. And the cancer will find a solution in the dimension of physicality. You end up in Linz, you still have a tumor, but it's not malignant anymore.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 463rd Knowledge Seekers Workshop here on Thursday, December 15th, 2022. This is a broadcast of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute Education Department and part of the public teachings in English. My name's Rick Crammond, and I'll be host here today. And once again, we have the pleasure of hosting Mr. Mehran Keshe of the Keshe Foundation, who will be delivering today's workshop once again. Hello, Mr. Keshe. Are you ready to begin today?
Yes, good morning, good day to you. As usual, whenever you listen to this series of knowledge seekers of the Keshe Foundation, Spaceship Institute, is sharing knowledge and trying to understand more about the world of creation. It's interesting to see how the next steps in development of the technology will come, the limitation which our knowledge seekers will understand, and in a way, the world of science and technology of the man will change. As we said, if you some 50 years ago, we have spoken about the mobile phone, what it does. We saw it in the black and white movies, and it was just a dream that something will come like this. Now today, every person carries one, even in the jungles of Africa or in the backwaters of Brazil. Now, with this technology, we build a new structure, a new science. But again, as I said, we built on the knowledge of the past that man can use, can understand, and gradually change. If we didn't have the mobile system, if we didn't have the satellites, today's teaching and the knowledge we shared with all of you, most probably from every nation on this planet is online, every nation, every culture and creed, within the next 7 days or next 12 months will listen to this teaching and other teachings. If we would have brought this knowledge to a tribe the way it was given to the Egyptians, will stay in one place and will not grow. It will be staying there because there was no communication the way it is today. The last contacts of the man with the building of the pyramids became localized with the knowledge that the man has built over past thousands of years. Now the global, the whole structure of the humanity receives the knowledge. How many more pyramids we're going to build? Or do we make pyramids from the star formations and everything else that now we learn what the true pyramid is? What was lost in the culture, now it's become the culture of everyone. We had to go through what we call mass communication, development of satellites, computers, and make it so normal that everybody uses it, everybody understands it, and gains trust in it and works with it, that now we can bring the next step in. If mankind thought the microchips and everything else was something come just by accident and achieved, you have a long way coming. We had to develop technologies that the man totality could understand and change. And with it, now the new communication system allows us to do this. Now we can reach all in one instance, in every language on this planet, one way or another. You come to understand the essence of the knowledge. You don't need to read books to understand how to make ganses. Many people in Amazon in Africa have never made and read, seen some of them a book, let alone knowing what the science is. But they make ganses. They know how to make it. They understand the knowledge which is not written, but is created by the Creator. And this was the whole essence of the teaching. This is what the whole purpose of the teaching was. Handing down to those who are there to serve, to teach, to serve, and in that process, bring every man online. When we put announcements out, we see how many cultures, nations, nationalities, and everywhere else come into. Tomorrow's celebration of Christmas by Keshe Foundation, it will be a magic time. You're all coming with expectation and why. And I'm sure by the end of the session, you will understand you've been brought in by your soul to experience something unique, to experience what mankind has dreamt from time of Christ. It's not teaching and it's not processing and it's not there to overcome your dreams of mind. Tomorrow's experience, the Keshe Foundation celebration of Christmas, is the true essence of understanding Christmas, not by eyes, but through the soul. Feeling where the Christ was born, feeling the time of his life. Tomorrow's teaching is not a teaching. It's a teaching of the soul. It's a teaching that you will understand the essence of the creation. Many of you coming with a lot of hopes. I have cancer. I want to go to the moon. I want this and that. But I'm sure you'll be surprised in how your physicality has brought your soul for the purpose of delivering the knowledge and understanding and the revelation of the soul of humanity. Time of Christmas is time of giving gifts. Gift of life. Tomorrow, mankind will receive a gift who could not even imagine exists. But this gift could not be given to one. It had to be shared and understood by all. Tomorrow's experience will be evolution, a revolution in science and technology none of you have ever seen. And some of you will come out and have not even understood what has happened to you. where we educate the soul of the man, where we deliver the knowledge of the creation that will see that change. Mankind has been taught how to connect, how to write, how to make speeches and everything else. This time, the soul of the man will be given the freedom of passage through all nationalities at every corner of this planet. You are looking for a dome of peace. Tomorrow we create a dome of the soul of the man on earth. The experience you go through, you might not even understand it. And it might come to you in a future time when you mature to understand, or during the process of the celebration, you will understand. Do not come with expectation. You might be disappointed, and you might receive more than you bargained for. But understand, those who join the celebration of tomorrow will understand new understanding in the time to come. They might some be enlightened, and some will be enlightened in time to come, as the soul and understanding matures to understand what they received by the dimension of the soul. Expectation is the job of the man, physicality. Sharing unconditional is the job of the soul. And it's time to bring that in. It's time to bring what was the gift to mankind. And then we will see where the mankind will take it. It won't happen overnight. It needs time till the soul of totality of all beings on this planet will come to the balance of their own in respect to each other. Tomorrow is the day of promise, where the lamb and the lion will sleep in the same den. You will understand when you go through the process. We have closed the registration. Those souls who are to be here will be here. We expected and targeted less than 100, who receive much more. And for that reason, we allowed everyone to participate. You got to understand that there is no other way to change the course of humanity unless the soul of humanity is ready to bring that change to physicality. And we could not do one by one. Now it's done in a mess. In a way, the totality of the soul's connection to tomorrow's session will bring the start, the beginning, that what I call trigger points for the soul of the earth, the man and his creatures on this planet, all become to start the what we call rising from dead. That in the sense of the understanding the process of creation. And that process will be valid for every man, every creature on this planet. Tomorrow we celebrate the beginning of the life of humanity in the dimension of the soul and not physicality. And the birth of Christ was that symbolic. A man took it the wrong way. Maybe the time has come for man to understand the true essence of the Son of God. Maybe the time has come for man to understand what was all this about and how everything was played for man, eager and hungry in the dimension of physicality, to follow the path of understanding the total knowledge of the creation. If we do it, you would have changed it. If you do it like Psychogenetic, you'll keep it because you created it. As I explained in the journal teaching last week, for the first time in public, the Keshe Foundation, in the coming weeks, will release scientific paper. I have not written a paper for years, but this paper will bring a new cycle, a new dimension, and a new understanding in the world of creation of the man. As I explained, mankind has been used to and accepted the term of psychosomatic, which means whatever happens psychologically to you will manifest itself in physicality of the body. But mankind has now learned one thing, that every psychosomatic has to go through emotion. Looks at the beginning and looks at the end and does not understand how it came to be. The new knowledge, which now scientifically through what we call research, which is going on, will be laid out in a very simple way. Mankind speaks about DNA. DNA is a hard disk, is not the information. Made of blocks, as mankind has called it, sequence of proteins making the structure of the physicality. It's like stacking computers on top of each other. These stacking, these memory cards and memory bank put in a box called the human body cannot do anything unless they can communicate with each other. They need a software. They need a communication line. They need to be in the environment that all receive the same energy and the same information, that all can balance each other and create a structure. And then when it comes with that emotion, how do they receive the information? We call it the RNA, what we call the communication line, the bank of the memories, what's going to go into this hardware. And then the emotion creates the current, the information, the magnetic fields for the what are called the information to be released to the physicality of the DNA. We understood psychosomatic. Now mankind has to understand the new word, psychogenetic, where psychologically we create genetic modification. And we said the gentleman or the child has genetic deformation. How did it come in? How did it start? Where did that deformation come from? Where did the movement of one of the computer disks from one stacker move to the other? Or it behaves like the other, which brings that genetic defect. Now, with the new knowledge of what we call psychogenetic, we understand all the genetic defects, all the genetic information, which we call it defect, all modification comes through the essence of the emotion of the man. What happened to your forefathers? Or what happened to you in one point of your life that you create an information, that information through the essence of the emotion dimensions of the magnetic field of the plasma of the soul of the man and the physicality dimension of the brain becomes moving one from one bank into the other, behaving like the other, and then it doesn't fit in, and we call it genetic defect. Now that the mankind has been given this knowledge, what we call psychogenetic, and psycho, whatever you call it, shows the dimension of magnetic field, plasma of the magnetic field of the emotion, creating the motion, the movement, the energy for one of these memory banks in the stacker in the box of the memory of the structure of the man to behave like another one 10 step up. And it doesn't fit. So it has to move the structure that it can fit. Telephones have to move. We call it whatever cell has moved or whatever protein has moved in the gene of the man. And then we call it defect. Now, if we can create that emotion, if we can create that plasmatic field of strength that moved the mobile phone or the memory bank to behave or move to another position to behave like the others, which creates a defect, and we put it back in its original place or give it the energy that it works as it was supposed to, then there will be no genetic defects. We don't modify, we correct. With what we call psychogenetic, man will become a perfect man. And in space, wherever you land, delivers a perfect gene, a perfect combination for the structure of the building. If you have a cancer here and you land on the planet Zeus, you still have the cancer, but not to kill, because the genes have decided it's one of us, we'll look after it, it's a new part. But it won't kill you, it won't create a defect. It arranges for it to be accommodated, the way the plasma stuff. The world and the science of what we call psychogenetic through RNA will become a new science for man to work on. We don't do genetic modification by changing something that your child will have a blue eyes blue because you love to have a blue-eyed child. You transfer the emotion of the pleasure it gives you through the emotion of the body of the man and the soul of the man to the RNA, and the modification will be perfect. I want to be pleased. This is how man will create the next generation, the next cycle of his children, through the emotion of the soul, and not through the what we call action sets. This is the way in the universe most of the creations are done. Man has been physical in every dimension, even in the generation of his own offspring. The new knowledge and the new paper which will be released will explain a lot of this for the next and new generation of the science and technology, which the man needs to understand to become a member of the universal community. The soul of Christ was created out of the energy of the love of the Creator, and not but sexual interaction. Carries the soul of the Creator. This is what mankind has to understand. And this is what the new knowledge and technology will be brings, and will bring more in the coming months and weeks and days to many of the knowledge. We don't change genes. We are not in the world of man's fake knowledge of medicine. We work through the process of understanding the emotion and the emotions and the interaction of the fields of the plasma of the soul of the man and the soul of physicality of the man work. The two things which was hidden from man and was abused by those who thought they understood, but the word could be abused. The soul and the spirit. The sun and the emotion of the fields of the physicality. We call it the atmosphere of the planet. We call it the atmosphere of the body of the man, the spirit. The interaction of the fields decides what Earth receives. The interaction of the fields of the body of the man with the soul, with the sun, decides what that body is going to be made of. the provider and the interaction of the provider's fields with the dimension, position, time, and place. Man becomes aware of the knowledge of creation, and then man understands time does not exist. Till the point where you establish the essence of the manifestation of the detection, and that's become the zero time. It has made me laugh many, many times when I hear the scientists say this planet is 4 billion years old, or 5 billion years old, and the solar system, and God knows the universe, blah, blah. Time does not exist in the dimension of the creation. It is created that establishes its time. You call it the birthday, birth of Christ. You celebrate it on the 1st of January, or whatever you call it in December the 24th or the 5th and the rest of it, but originally was built to be on the change on the time of what we call 21st of December. The shortest dark days of the man is to start when at the point of what we call 21st of December is the longest, darkest time for man that he existed. The essence was to bring to understand the dark days for man in knowledge and understanding of the creation is over. Man progresses to the new knowledge. If you understand it, after 21st, the days will start getting longer. The dark time becomes shorter. And that was the essence of the birth of the Christ. That was the essence of the birth of Mitra on 21st. But man got it all the way wrong because he had to give it the dimension of the tree and the light, and again got him all the physicality. The dark days of the knowledge of the man is over. In understanding the process of the creation of the Creator. And that knowledge only comes through the soul of the man. As I said many, many times, man has got to learn to feed his soul, that the soul feeds the physicality, that the man shall not kill. Now, the man has to understand the knowledge of the creation and the Creator will come through the soul of the man. That he feeds to the dimension of physicality of the man to understand the process of the creation. Up to now, the same as your food you took from outside in. I mean, keep on telling you 80% comes from inside out. Now will be the same with the knowledge. From now on, man will receive the knowledge of the creation at a point of need and understanding through his soul. If you are on Mars, you understand the knowledge and what you need and what is necessary for you to live a comfortable life and existence, and that will come through your soul. You go from United States to China, you'll speak Chinese. You understand the essence of the Chinese word and not just the dictionary. You feel the emotion of the language and the culture. Because this time, you didn't take a flight to take the physicality 18 hours on a plane from one place to another. You took the instantaneous transportation of the transmutation of your soul. And that soul educated itself to the dimension, place, and position. Once we release this paper, the new knowledge, the new understanding, the new level of the creation and the Creator's understanding from man will become easier. If you understand the essence of the paper to be released as psychogenetic, then you understand what created that psychoside. Inside this body of the man was the soul. And the soul of the man is connected to the soul of the Creator. Then you understand the genetic of the creation of the Creator in the embodiment of the man. I made man in the image of myself. In a way, through the plasmatic fields of me, man has created itself in the dimension of the soul. Then it's you who decides. I was born brown and black and yellow or blue eyes or brown, and I want to look like the beautiful creature in Mars on this earth. How would I do it? What would be the pleasure of me to change conditions that I see what I like in the other places? And I carry the full culture. I don't need to go to school in Mars or in planet Zeus to understand what it is, but I get the knowledge of the universe to the platform of the knowledge of the creation. As with a new technology, we abolish the prisons and the hospitals. With the release of the new understanding, and when man understands fully, there shall be no schools and universities, as the man is a graduate from the knowledge of the creation at the point of inception. Those of you who carry the platforms and placard of the doctors and PhDs and engineers and professors and electricians, you better keep it and make it solid, because there will be not many of them will be produced in coming time. Graduate from the knowledge of the universe and the creator has no paper for it to be written, except ingrained in the soul of the man. Those of you who put fear in you by understanding your soul, we have seen these devils across the universe. By holding you back, they can abuse you. Freedom of the knowledge and understanding gives you the freedom of the universe. We don't want your soul. We just teach you how to understand your soul. Whoever tells you that we are in the process of getting your soul, or whatever, it belongs to the abusers of the children, the churches and the mosques and the rest. Till they don't let you feel guilty, they can't abuse you, because they've been abused themselves. Those who tell you don't give your soul and do, these are the ones who have kept man away from understanding the knowledge of itself and its creation, because they've been abused and now they become abusers. It's for mankind to take the next step, is to understand the true process of the creation. As I said, with the paper to be released, it will be as beautiful as the book number 1, 2, and 3. Brief, but in understanding the process of the creation in the matter state, now you will understand easily the process of the creation in the plasma state. A new science, a new knowledge, a new step of mankind. And this time, instead of teaching you, and then you understand, this time in tomorrow's session, we take you for you to decide what you want to understand. Many of you will end up with some of the most beautiful experiences of your life, and many generations before and after. Because you decide to be that point of change. Some of you, most of you will not see the change or understand it. But in time, as we say, my grandfather was there when the first lights were on in Chicago Fair, that the man could see the light bulb. Your children and your great-grandchildren to come will say, my father was in the process when the first light of the soul of the man was switched on the 6th of December, 2022. The promise of the change in 2022 was given to man, and tomorrow fulfill that promise. The return of Messiah, the manifestation of Mehdi, the completion of the cycle of the man, not by an individual, but by the soul of the totality. From every culture, race, and creed, tomorrow we participate to bring that change. The new birth and the new beginning. For man to understand the cycle of his soul and not the dimension of a candle on the tree. In coming time, many of you and many of your souls will celebrate that I was there when the time of Mehdi came, which was the knowledge of me to understand myself and no more. It brings the end of the religions, fake followers of the religions, and it brings the beginning of the what we call understanding, the true understanding of the knowledge of the creation by yourself, according to your freedom to understand and be free to accept and bring that change, not for you, but for totality. We just provide that stack of computers and that server room that you can all log into, like the program today. Today you have come to us through different servers and through different connections and different operators to be here. Tomorrow you become all the servers and the operators, and we become the facilitators, that satellite which allows you all to work as one. When the lamb and the lion will eat together. When the Russians and the Ukrainians, the Chinese and the Arabs, the Iranian and the Jews, all be online through the dimension of the soul. To find that final solution for the physicality of the man in the dimension of existence. Now you understand why we celebrate. Christmas celebration of tomorrow is the day of Mehdi, promised. And now you understand, was never one, was never supposed to be one, was supposed to be, to understand that to bring the totality for the whole of the universe. We are just facilitated. We are just satellites. And those of you who participate on the mobile phones in every corner of this planet, that you make that satellite to for all of you, all your souls at the same time to interact and become. Those who observe the operation of the soul of a man in a deep space will see tomorrow during the session a new star, a new light, a new dimension will radiate from this planet. And that light, the same as I said, when the soul moves from inside out, was in the intro with the radiation, this time the soul of the man will shine to outside from inside. Up to now, we saw the planet. Now the universe will see the soul of the man, the citizens of this planet as well. We'll see tomorrow a massive change, the beginning of the world peace and the beginning of end of wars. We see the unification of mankind with the universal community. And it's for mankind to see what knowledge they can gain from the university of the universe and the universal community, the bank of the knowledge of the Creator. And then we'll see what would your great-grandchildren born from the fields of the soul of the man will tell the others in the universe. When the change came, my grandfather was there in the dimension of physicality. Now, there is no possibility that Vatican or Ayatollah Khamenei or the Islamic world or whatever and whoever can chase to get that man that he doesn't come out and they can live with their fallacies of the one day. The two is the Mahdi, the collection of the interaction of the soul of the humanity will rise tomorrow. Let them find over 100 of you across this planet. Impossibilities. And we have achieved what we came here for. The day of the manifestation of the Mahdi, the promise, the understanding of the soul, of the collective soul of the man, of the process of the creation and the creator. The enlightenment of the soul, of the totality of the creatures of this planet. And don't forget what Einstein said. When you turn one, the other one turns two. When the soul of humanity reaches to understand the soul of the understanding of the creation and the creator, the rest of the citizens of the universe will turn to and be educated. Maybe now, the whole of humanity becomes aware of what we call evolution and development of understanding the process of the creation and the creator. I'm sorry for those who are hoping to get a PhD in Planet Zeus and come back to me and say, I have a PhD from that university in that part of the world. There are no papers, no universities, except in the imagination of fallacies of the brain of the man. Tomorrow, the silence will speak for itself. And tomorrow, many of you will understand why you joined, you wanted, and you became part of that experience. People went to Chicago to see the light bulb for the first time. Man will come, and the whole of universe comes to earth tomorrow to see the enlightenment of the soul, which brings the change for the rest of the universe. You got to understand it's your soul who chose you to be there, and not you. You're just a tool. Psychosomatic. But in essence, it's psychogenetic, as your genes have brought you here to be in that cycle of the change for manifestation of the Mahdi. Let the world of religion to wipe itself out as you carry more knowledge than they do, as you carry the knowledge of the creation. And then there will be no theology, as the theory of the logic of the creation does not exist in the dimension of religions. They never understood the essence of the soul and the creation of man. We'll be awaiting you, those who registered. and the whole universe will wait for the man to change tomorrow. Celebration of the what we call elevation of the soul of the man and the citizens of this planet collectively. Those of you who are pure will come to it during this session. Those of you who have not understood the totality through the dimension of physicality, in time will come to it. But the process will start where we connect the whole of the humanity together. We tested this with you, one thing you are one, and then we through a couple of sessions and week teachings. But tomorrow it will be totality, the time the test is over. We will have access to the dimension of cosmic rays. We will have access to the dimension of the soul of the man. We have access to the dimension of the soul of the creation. And the promised day will be upon you tomorrow. We are just facilitators. We are the messengers who were sent to create the time and the position and the place. City of Lids, where the Hitler came, rise of new technology from ashes. The phoenix of the end of the physicality, the beginning of the life for humanity, in the dimension of the soul in the universe. Gas chambers of vents, where the time where the phoenix was burned, and a new cycle from Gensu again. I hope humanity understands. I'm sure a lot of you have understood. Would you like to go for a second part of the break?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Keshe. Okay, this is the 463rd Knowledge Seekers Workshop, and we'll continue with the second part of the transmutation and health benefits video that we saw at the beginning of our show today. Okay, I'll start that now.
We did not vanish the tumor on the way. We exchanged the source. We elevated the source, the elevation of the source. So as part of this, in development of the technology, we are testing that elevation and dimension of interaction of the being, emotion, and physicality. You might have Alzheimer's, you might have Parkinson's, you might have every other condition, but this is not our job. We want to see if we can expand your soul, if we can allow you to expand your soul to the limitation of the envelope we give you, and then see how your body reacts to this expansion. You call it healing, you call it curing, that's your problem. What we are interested is in how we expand, how we can control that expansion. And in a transition time from New York to Lens, how your energies will interact with the system, with the dimensions, and with everything else. We want to know how things will go, and we want to know how things sit. And in this process, you call it whatever you like. Healing, processing, curing. That's your problem. We create transition and transmutation of the fields of the body of the man. And we'll find out in time, man will change. In time, the humanity, through progress of understanding, will change to its own dimension and direction. And in time, us, as those who understand part of the knowledge, will come to teach the others to understand the work of their own soul, to understand the work of others. At the moment, everything has become physical, and everything has to be done in hospitals by doctors who read a few books, and they become gods. Now the God is within you, which is your soul. And the creator of you, the creator of the existence of physicality of you is within you. You can become the doctor of yourself. We don't do anything. You find the solutions. We don't do anything. Your soul fixes what is wrong inside. This week, I'm sure the ladies on the line, she came to our doctors, highly educated, a PhD. She cannot walk. She cannot take steps. She can do a small dragging foot. Talking to her, the doctors even have, I've never heard before, is screwing her big toe to the one next that she can keep her balance or whatever. Literally put a pin between two toes. She had to move house to live in a one-floor apartment because she cannot do anything. She hasn't walked in a way for nearly 2 years, collectively 5 years. She has to go through a pain structure to get up, to stand up, even trying to take the step. Highly educated. Hands cannot bend. Fingers don't touch. It's like putting an orange in between the hand. She's been like this for years. For past 2 years, and gradually she goes into condition that she will not be able to move anything. With the doctors, she's been put through the process for 30 minutes. Then we asked her, can you walk? She stands up, she walks. Can't hear her voice clearly. She says, I'm walking. I don't want to stop. I haven't walked for years. I have no pain. And she walks around the table and like dancing. And he said, just calm down. He says, I don't want to. I haven't walked. This is something impossible. In 30 minutes. It's not the 30 minutes. It's that millisecond. The soul decides to perfect the walk. The man to walk. Souls, the psychological and the physical just follows. That 30 minutes is where that 1 millisecond of elevation of the soul will come. To stop. comes on the next day. The joy, the happiness of being able to walk the day before was overwhelming. Go through the same process again. And she's walking. She doesn't want to sit. We ask her to run. She says, I cannot run. Asking the question. My toes have been pinned together. My ankles have been locked because I was not supposed to walk ever again in my life. What about the hand? The fingers can touch each other for the first time. The emotion, the process wanting to live is so strong. It has rejuvenated itself. Life is there again to live. We asked her, can you go for a run in the next couple of weeks? I can't run. My toes are pinned. My ankle is locked. But now they have to take it off. We created the envelope. The scanning, the evolution is done by the soul, by the energy within inside a man, not by us. We are literally a DHL office. We are a post office. We know where to develop the envelope and how we cannot carry a letter. You have to put it in an envelope that we can carry. You have to box it. We create a box. We are provider of that box. We are not the curer. We are not the doctors. We are not anything. We are just a courier office, which needs everything to be an envelope. You cannot bring a bunch of oranges on the table, says, can you take this to New York? Sorry, you have to put it in an envelope.
Okay, that brings us back to our 463rd Knowledge Seekers Workshop here on Thursday, December 15th, 2022. Mr. Keshe, would you like to continue, please?
Yes, let's see what our knowledge seekers want to know and what's their question. I think you got the message of today. I think humanity was waiting for this message for centuries, maybe for thousands of years. And you were all looking at that promised day, that promised day tomorrow when the humanity becomes. Mankind gets on conferences every day, hundreds of thousands of conferences, from a few people to hundreds and thousands. Mankind will go to conferences and to go to shows on the internet in thousands. Tomorrow is the first time when the soul of the man goes to concert. And the concert room is filled with everything the man needs, from cosmic rays to the soul of the creator, to the soul of the man, and everything else which mankind needs. It's the first time when the souls meet in one dimension and with the soul of the universal community. Many of you will imagine and you'll see things you have never seen. When you say you had a dream, something came, you envisaged something. But everything you see tomorrow Everything comes to your head tomorrow, everything which registers in your dimension of the brain, dimension of physicality, is what is in the universe. Some of you who are pure in dimension of the soul will have the ability to meet with your creator. It does not matter if you claim you've done nothing wrong in the dimension of physicality, because wrong thoughts is as bad as physical dimension. You have created that psychogenetic separation of the physical dimension, the dimension of psychogenetic. Mankind will understand soon. From the members of Universal Council to the members of the court here, to those from the Earth Council and the rest, all be present in being part of this celebration. Those of you who will understand will see some of the most beautiful things in the universe tomorrow, which is nothing but the essence of the love of the Creator. And those of you who are still in the dimension of physicality will see the seas and the waters and the moon. Let's see what you have to tell to your children and the rest of humanity for the celebration of tomorrow. Any question?
Okay, we have a hand up here with Salamia. Can start off. Go ahead.
Thank you very much. Mr. Keshe, I'm surprised about all your projects, and I'm wondering that peace will be possible as soon as and what we have to do, all humanity, to bring finally peace, and with the help of this unit of equilibrium and harmony and all these units of Keshe technology. Thank you.
Just wait till tomorrow and watch what comes up after tomorrow. Our technology is technology of soul, understanding what of the universe, not the physicality of the man. The guns and bullets and tanks is job of the man. We shoot bullets of love and rockets of unity. And let's see what brings. It's the soul of the mankind and the universe tomorrow when it comes together. And let's see how you celebrate. And then the peace will come below.
Thank you very much.
Find peace in yourself. That will reflect in the rest of the things around you. In Romania, you're sitting on the edge of the war.
Yeah.
And the only thing that the Romanians have not understood, and the rest of the countries around Baltic and around Ukraine, is that they shot the last bullets in the dimension of the faith. If you look at the history of past 7 days, past 2 weeks, you understand what I told you months ago. This war was the war of religions, not war of nations. And you did not understand. For the first time ever in the history of man, a nation has moved to confiscate assets of another church. By the order of the Ukrainian president, all the assets of the Russian Orthodox Church has been confiscated. Voila. Now you see what I told you months ago. What a war of nations has got to do with the church. Now you understand how deep Vatican is involved in this. Read the newspapers and see what the president of Ukraine has done. It's just a tool to bring the end to the religion. He is, as we all know, a comedian, a monkey on the string. Now you understand what I told you months ago. This is a war between the churches. Now you have the solid proof of it. Now you understand how much we know and how much it's in the back. A nation is very much like in Israel, the government orders to confiscate all the Islamic mosques and all the Islamic assets to theirs. Would that change the belief of the Muslims in Israel? Or is it just a move of the greed of this structure? And now we see today. In the past 7 days, the Ukrainian president has moved to confiscate a religion's asset. Now you know what is to come.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe.
Any other question?
Okay, we have a question from Chen here, the Q&A. For the flight test on the 16th, can I sit in a stationary car for the test?
Sit in the UFO, sit in a stationary car, go in the submarine, be a member of the satellite somewhere, be on a plane. Your physicality can be anywhere. It's your soul which connects.
As long as it's a quiet environment, basically, is the only...
If we hear disturbances, we'll switch off the person. As somebody said, by the end of the session, there'll be just about a handful of people left. If you have Moshfaq, which always have beep, beep, bam, bam in the background. If you have Stefania, which always jumps in with other things. If we have others who live in the noisy places, we have to take you out because you disturb this peace, as I call it. It's not your fault, but it's a collective open session. Put all your phones on the flight mode, which means you receive no telephone calls. During the session, you receive the internet, you'll have the internet connection. But switch your mobile phones during the session into the flight mode. Then nobody can call you, nobody can disturb. If you have 2 or 3 phones, put them all on a flight mode. We get the disturbance, we take you out, we switch your line off. We don't give warning. Because there's nobody else to warn. The people in the background see where the noise comes on the microphones and they take the person out. An ambulance passes, you're in 4 corners of this planet. And every noise is possible. It's for you to make sure you stay somewhere safe and quiet. Leave your phones open. Do not switch your microphones off. Then it becomes a one-way traffic. You don't receive anything. Do not switch your microphones off, leave it on. Go on a flight mode and hide somewhere very quiet. Doesn't matter where you are, you can go in the depth of the system. The Keshe Foundation systems are all over the place. In the underground bunker, I call it. Any news? Any other question?
We had a question from Yuhi in the chat regarding, he's going to participate in the 16th session. Has a question, what will happen if someone does call through a mobile phone or knocks on the room during the experience while the soul is already in Linz or elsewhere? In which dimension of the soul or emotion or physicality will there be an accident, or what would happen to the person?
Switch your mobile phones off and stay away from it. That's all we can tell you. You have to understand, we were happy with about 80, 90 people, 100 was our target if it reaches. We're nearly double that. So the chances of mishaps sits there. We have set up absorption systems in the background to take some of these things out. It's not that all will go one way. We have systems which can absorb, and they will be running in the background. It's actually built in the systems in Linz from the beginning. You will have, for the first time, participation and connections with the cosmic rays, which is built by man, by an understanding of the man, and the same outside. The cosmic rays, which will be part of the system tomorrow, never reaches Earth. Is not part of the inner structure of this planet. So in a way, that's the sugar we add into the pot. So that will bring a totally different dimension, even in the tests we done. These things cannot be recorded. None of you try to record. You will understand, you break the law, you pay by the law of the soul. Do not try to record, and do not try to be clever. You think I'm recording it. Only those who have sent their emails and participated will be allowed in. You can give as many numbers to anybody posted on the internet, whatever you like. We control the panel. We have a list of those who have registered, the souls who have volunteered, and it'll go the same. It's a controlled public meeting. There are about 14 people who have not answered to their emails to send in their email connection line. If you paid and you have not provided, and you say you have not received the email, look in your junk box. It could have gone into your junk box. The email you sent your order is the email we have responded back to. Keshe Foundation has never worked so hard to respond back to an event so rapidly. All of you received your emails last night. If you have paid and have not received your email, it means look in your junk box. There's only one person, Wang Lin, which is going to be added on today because she's changed her email. The rest of the people who have registered, if you have not received your what I call email confirmation, check it and send your email to the the same email that you received the information from. Sometime this afternoon, what we call the Zoom number will be sent to all those people who are participating. Do not send it out, do not put it in, and do not put it across anywhere. Do not give it to your brother or your sister, because nobody will come in. You're the only one. And to benefit by it, you need to have the headphone on your head. Do not try to share headphones. You will see the what I call other sides of the job. One headphone per person, and one person, one soul per system. The soul who chose to be part of this experience.
Mr. Keshe, could you explain for Jake in our YouTube and others that might not know yet, why to use the wired headphones and why a mobile phone and not the regular desktop or laptop?
Each has its own. If you use these AirPods, you get interference and other bits of information which is not needed. They come with their own inherent problem. And desktop and the computers and laptops, we advise you not to use because they create a lot of information which can interfere with what you receive. Try to close all the apps in the background. Don't come into the session with apps open. Close all the pages which you have open. Close everything down that you stand directly in the line of information. Make sure you have enough battery that can take you through the session. Some people ask us how many hours. It took billions of years to get man to today. We need time to create that Mehdi. There are over 80 races, nationalities, religions, the school of thoughts on the panel tomorrow. You remember when I told you when you come to Linz, if you're a Chinese or if you're Indian or you're English, you leave your imprint with the system. Tomorrow you all share each other's soul within the imprint of the work to bring that change with the soul of the universe. Maybe now you understand what this process is tomorrow. In a way, we are synchronizing human soul with the soul of the universe, and you are doing it together. Now you understand why your soul has brought you to this position. You didn't become a knowledge seeker just by accident. You never understood. Your soul brought you to bring that change and that accident for man to become part of the universal community, not by accident, but by the liberation of the work of the souls. You remember, you've been promised the promised day. The promised day has come. Any other question?
Okay, we have a couple of hands up here. Jalal and Andreas. Go ahead, Jalal, first.
Yes, Rick, thank you. Hi, Mr. Keshe. Good day.
Hi, Jalal. Good day to you.
Mr. Keshe, you said do not come with expectation. And in the second hand, you said come with a lot of wishes. how this will be, how this will be managed. You know, all our life is working with the expectation.
We have people who send us email, if I have cancer, I come, would I get healed? If I'm drug addict, would I be healed? This is not a healing process. This is not somewhere that brings you to that point. Even your addiction or your sake of illness, your soul had to bring you in for it to be part of the elevation. That's the reason, not for you to be processed or cured or whatever you expect. Some people come to join the universal community, and some people come to wish peace. When you come tomorrow, it's very much like you go to a party. It's the celebration of Christmas. It's a menu set, cannot be changed. There is a starter, there is a main course, and there is a dessert. And a drink is what Christ gave. This is my blood. This is my blood. You would understand. We are not there tomorrow to heal anyone or process anyone. Tomorrow's session is for the elevation of the soul of the man and what I call the promised goal of entering to universal community. It's the day of promise, and it's a fulfillment of centuries and many books. You don't understand. It cannot be done by one man. It has to be the collective essence of the soul of the creation on this planet with them all. Amongst you tomorrow, I have noticed, going through the list, there are a number of those who are guests on this planet. They have joined in the name of their physicality, but we know them as they are the passengers of the universe. Those are the ones who bring you that connection with the universal community as they are part of it. None of you will know who they are, but we know them as we know them for a long time. They're members. They're in the shape of the human race, but in truth inside, they're from different parts of the universe. It's like when you have a celebration, you invite presidents and ambassadors of different countries. They are the ambassadors of the universe in this celebration of man today. You will understand. It's not expectation, it's a celebration. And that's what it says, celebration of Christmas. But not the birth of Christ, but it's the entering of the man to understand his soul and the entrance of joining the universal community. Don't expect to see lights and parties. That's for the universal community, which is already having it outside. If you've been waiting for the day of Qiyamah, the day of judgment, the day of promised day, that day is upon you tomorrow. The universe has been waiting for this day for billions of years, not time. You are part of it, not us. It's you who do it. We're just messengers. We're just that cameraman, that sound recorder, and the guy who brings the computer for you to hear the music. The voice, the motion is the soul of the participants, which are from all over the universe. And for sure, the Creator will be present. Mitra will be among us tomorrow. And the child I meet will be amongst us tomorrow. Areas for you to be enlightened with us. We came with the light. Any other question?
Thank you, Mr. Keshe.
Before we have Andreas here, let's answer a few technical questions here. Gail mentions when I put flight mode on, my internet connection stops. I'm not sure if that's true of all cell phones. Maybe there's a, I know there's a do not disturb function. Maybe that's what it should be put on rather than.
Depends on different phones' capability. Put your phone on the mobile and try, what do you call it, on the flight mode, and try to get into the internet. Open one of the browsers and like Google and see if you get in so your system works. Mm-hmm. That's the easiest way to.
Should we use a headphone with the microphone, or should we use the microphone of the mobile phone itself?
You have to use the headphone with a mobile phone. Plug it in and play it. Some of you most.
But he's saying he's more concerned with the microphone. Should you use the microphone that's built into the headphone, or use the microphone that's built into the phone itself?
What does that mean?
Well, the phone, iPhone has a microphone built into it, or you can plug in your headphones, and sometimes they have a microphone with them.
Yeah, plug in your headphone.
So I think either microphone will be okay, I guess.
Yeah, any microphone with the headphones should be okay.
Yeah. Okay.
You got to realize there's a purpose for this, and you will see, or you will find out the difference very soon.
Can we leave our battery charger on if the phone battery is low?
Yeah, I think in the session we'll have that many of you will run out of battery. It depends how much the session will take. The session will start and finish according. We just started at 12 o'clock sharp. It finishes when the soul of totality reaches a balance. If you suddenly see the session is finished without a notice, you have to understand it's not our decision. There will be very little spoken tomorrow. It's not a party and music and dancers and singers. This is some of the universe. So you have to find out the process you go through. Those of you who bought the discs, the black discs from the foundation, try to hold one in each hand during the process if you can. Then you will understand more why you bought it. Any other?
Let's go to Andreas here now. Go ahead, Andreas.
Good day, Mr. Keshe. Good day to everyone. And thank you for what you have brought. And thanks to everyone to be part in this beautiful day. I have a question, and I believe I'm not the only one. My son, my 11-year-old son, will take the flight tomorrow or be part. And I'm wondering how should I just put him the earphones on and say, listen to your soul? Or because I cannot hear if something is said inside. Could you expand on that, please? Thank you.
That all depends on you. It'll be silent. And amazingly, is a silence that nobody wants to leave. In one of the experiences or tests we are doing, we had children, very young children, who refused to put headphones on. And even in the first sessions, they objected. And after a while, in the second session, they want the headphone. Listening to nothing in the ear enlightens their soul. And it's amazing how children change. And I'm sure it's not something that will be silent to nothing. It's a silent that is everything in it. And it depends how, what is the expectation. If he's coming here to listen to a jazz band or a concert, this concert is a silence concert. It's a concert of the soul.
Beautiful.
You have to explain to those who participate or you board the flight.
Thank you.
Okay, Dean has a hand up. Go ahead, Dean.
Thank you, Rick. Good morning, Mr. Keshe. Mr. Keshe, so this experience, would you, is the position that humanity and, the 7 billion, 8 billion, whatever it is, will they all be receiving this at some point? Is this a step where the evolution of man will be for all?
It's the beginning of evolution, not for man, but then the planet Earth and the citizens. They kept the dog on the planet, just don't. It is beginning of a hurricane. You know, when you have an avalanche, it takes one snow drop to join the second one, and then the second, third one, and then it becomes an avalanche. Today's session is that first snow drop. And the avalanche will come. We'll follow it on a monthly basis till it completes. It is just the beginning. A lot of souls who are in this session will come to the other sessions and then build up.
And so there's a, Mr. Keshe, you spoke about there was souls from the universe, there's souls from the planet Earth. So there's a cross section of physicality and souls and soul and physicality.
All the souls, or what I call the ambassadors of the universe, will manifest themselves in the sense they are members of the physical soul here. They have chosen to be here, not to be hidden and be invisible. They are here at your party. They come what I call the Bahamas getaway. What do you want them to mask themselves in the human body? Don't expect that there's somebody here that is not there, or it's just outside. People of the universe are waiting for these ambassadors to tell them what happened in that generation, as much as the grace of the man. There is no advantages or shortcuts.
And the elevation of the man, Mr. Keshe, when this is in the process of this session, this experience, will there be any physical interactions that can be seen by others, or is this just obviously people going to be in quiet locations on their own or with their families? will the family members or anybody see any interactions, or is that just a physical thing? It's all on the soul aspect.
It's all on the soul. You've done enough mankind interaction. You have enough cameras, televisions, and programs, and Zooms. You've done all that.
Yeah, we know.
And you're a cameraman. You record all that. Now you can't record what do you call it? The interaction of the souls. They haven't made a camera for it yet by humans.
So that illumination is going to be from the inside, and you're and
That's all it is.
yeah, and the souls that are going to be present. And as you said, this is going to be the gradually. It will be a torrent, yes, an avalanche of people coming forward to experience this.
It will be done. That's the only way we do it. If we don't do it this way, it'll become again us doing the magic and nobody sees. It's I explained to a knowledge seeker. When the Christ blessed his name rose dead, and they said who he gave life to the dead, it was a magic. Now Keshe Foundation scientifically does it. It's not magic anymore. When we gave life to Naomi, has Giovanni become the Christ? Now is a knowledge. We taught him, we showed him what he has to do, and he followed the step by step. That is not us to create the magic. In past few days, we were involved in a very specific case of a member of a family which they have a coma patient in a destination outside Europe. And the brother was present and the doctors were present monitoring how we worked remote in elevating the soul and how we could see the changes in the face and eyes of a coma patient. They said, this is impossible. You don't need to do physiotherapy, you don't need to do whatever. You just elevate the soul wakes up the physicality. Is the machine now in garages of Tesla become the what you call the new revelation in the car industry? Electric motors? Or do the systems which we build and goes across this planet become new crisis? Because these machines in the future will bring people out of coma. He brought the essence of the knowledge. We show the physicality of the knowledge which the man has been looking. And that dead body was a man with his knowledge. And he didn't realize 2,000 years is back, that dead body. Now we're trying to put that, what do you call it, that electric shock you put on the body wakes up. Tomorrow is an electric shock. Vibrators of your souls with each other.
What about the souls, Mr. Keshe, of the vertical friends and others present? Will they be have a position?
They are present. In Keshe Foundation, we made sure everybody is present.
So the horizontals and all creatures have a presence in this.
Yes,
in this
because you have to understand. You look at a cat or a plant to be there. We look at the essence of the creation of that plant and the animal.
So how is the amino acid structure of the planet with the amino acid structure of the universe going to tie in?
What do you think you are?
Part of it.
They already tied in, they made you. So it's already there.
And Mr. Keshe, will I'm not trying to be the mole or whatever, but so will people, when they experience this, you're going to be listening to white noise. They're going to be listening to nothing but everything. So will the senses of the physicality experience anything, or will it just be white noise, or will it be the dance of the soul that will be enlightened with all sorts of whatever? I don't know. I mean, I'm speaking from a physical point here.
You know what the guy said? He said, watch this space. I'm sure in the next week or months to come, some of you will talk about your experiences which you couldn't even remember you went through in the system at that time. Tomorrow is like a beautiful game, and it'll unite the humanity. If you remember, when I heard, as you all of you know, I'm a football freak, and when we saw the match yesterday, and that France has become to play in the final, and of course the highest scorer of the French team is of color, national, what they call it, race, but he's French. We saw the same thing in the last time when the French won the World Cup. The beautiful game made one nation out of France. The economical and the social structure of the France changed with one game when a guy of what we call less numbers of French team working with all as one brought France to win the World Cup. If you study the economical, social structure change in history of France, not one football match changed the history of France internally and economically. It made one out of the nation. And the French are looking for that, what I call celebration, again on Sunday. As many commentators said, that time, the beautiful game made a beautiful nation. And tomorrow's session is that football match. But on the level of the soul, and it's not a match, it's a party of the souls to make one. And bring that change to humanity.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe. So when through your from my experiences being part of the foundation, I went from being a very physical, loving the beautiful game and things, and now I don't even watch. I've not even seen any of the games or anything to do with this this particular interaction. So it's the change within myself has taken away that physical side that you know, you tend to interact on another level, giving whatever you believe to be giving in other ways, and sharing energies and coming forward and going out with other expectations of in a different way. Totally different.
You see, in that football match, we have a ball which 22 people play with. And there's one referee who runs around trying to make sure the ball is kicked the right way. In tomorrow's session and thereon, everybody brings their own ball, which is the ball of their soul, which is a sphere. But this time, we all play with each other's soul on a fair basis, on a correct basis. And there are no referees. And this is the beauty of this game, which we start tomorrow. It is not a game, but it's the operation of the soul of the man, which is that game, that's changer. It's, we are not chasing to be on one side or the other. In this game, everybody brings their soul and kicks in the same direction, if you call it. Trying to get everybody to play the beautiful game. And the game of the souls has no limitation, as the creator itself comes with his own ball.
And so this ball that's being shared, Mr. Keshe, it can be passed around amongst all?
It's not shared, you didn't hear me, you don't want to hear. Everybody brings their own ball.
Everybody brings their own ball, okay.
Not a ball to share. And all the balls are all the same. Now you understand you can work together. You make a bigger ball. It's like, you know, that football ball, it's got so many patches. When you sew the patches together, it makes the ball. Each one of your souls tomorrow is that patch to make that bigger ball. It'll be an interesting point tomorrow. I wonder if any of you can distinguish between your soul and the soul of the creator, the soul of Mitra tomorrow. A made man in the image of myself. You'll see many twins.
That opens up a very big aspect, Mr. Keshe, for all the souls present on the planet, and obviously the souls from the universe. So that is the joining of humanity with the universal community, and that is a big opening up of humanity.
It depends how much you want to keep yourself correct and out of it. I watched that video in the center. You become like nowadays anybody can't get to us, they go to Dean. You're there all the time. Can you do this? Can you ask Mr. Keshe to do that? Or I've walked to Mario in the office upstairs. Oh, Mr. Keshe, there are questions I want to ask. Knowledge seekers one, because Mario is there, always near Mr. Keshe. You might ask the question and get our answers. These things, we call it party bazi, because you know somebody you can get in. These things won't exist tomorrow. But you being there, for the past 4 or 5 months, we opened the center. You have never broken the law of acceptance of the souls. You have never put a foot in the room since they opened up for space technology. Even you're there, you see all these switches coming out of that room with all the souls, with experiences. You never wanted to walk in.
Unless invited, Mr. Keshe, or
very British.
Yeah, it's very British, exactly.
We invite you for a tea and biscuit, but you stayed a bit too long. It's the dinner time. You have your biscuit and tea. We have our dinner. You watch.
Yes, Mr. Keshe. Yeah.
Very British.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's maybe will change tomorrow. For those of you who don't know and don't understand English mentality, Dean is here, living there for 30 years. If English people invite you for tea and biscuit, and it's 3 o'clock, you're like, for dinner time is at 5, they won't invite you for a dinner. They'll let you have your tea and biscuit, while they set the table and they have their own dinner. And when this happened to me the first time, I was shocked. How is this possible? And but this is the way it is. You don't touch when you're not invited. And I've sat there and had a tea and coffee, and I watched them having their dinner. So Dean is very British. He's there all the time, but he's never been inside because he wasn't invited. He didn't invite himself. He didn't go and register to get in, so he didn't get in. This time he registered to get in. But that's how it is.
It's that expansion of the soul, Mr. Keshe, and that it's time, place, and position. And you've always said that when it's meant to be, it will be. And you've always been extremely, extremely patient, and given everything to the knowledge seekers and humanity, and literally everything to bring this forward. And so, as frustrating as it may have been, it's part of the process, and it is now, as it's set up for tomorrow, this beautiful encounter for all the knowledge seekers, and the beautiful knowledge seekers and the souls that are present, which are magnificent in their beauty, are all going to be in time, place, and position there, and many have already experienced it. So it's when it's supposed to be, and it is what it is.
It is something very interesting, I'm sure. I've told you before, and our Iranian friends can tell you. Iran television director has said, will be present when Mehdi appears. And the saddest thing is, tomorrow when the Mehdi appears and there is no television rights, nobody can record it. And the worst thing is that the world leaders and religious leaders all have in their plans, even in Iran, constitutional, religious side, they have made an army when the Mehdi appears, and to protect him. And no king and no president and no world leader is invited to the day of the manifestation. Amazing. Layman's soul is more important than the kings and the presidents of the world. This day was promised a long time ago. It's not coincidental. And this day is part of the change which will bring that change, the bigger change humanity is waiting for. And it will be brought in step by step, because from month to month, as we progress, more and more will be added. In middle of the year, in the back end of next year, people will give everything they have to be part of the experience. Kings will give their crowns and their kingdom to be able to be present in that encounter with the Creator. We don't fight. We allow you to destroy it yourself. And the process starts today. It's like there's a limited seat, and there is a limited number of people who can be part of it. And that's very much like a band. You start with singing in the pubs, and then a club, and then a theater, and then you get a football stadium, and then you get a whole satellite for the whole world to see. This is the beginning of that process. And this is a private club, which the souls will start the beginning of, ending up in the stadium, and then the whole lot to be part of. And we just provide these opportunities, nothing else. We promise we bring Mitra, and we promise we bring the Creator, and we promise we bring the child of Mitra. And all three will be present tomorrow. It's for the man to understand. A new generation, a new cycle of life has started, and man is part of it.
I can feel my body shaking a little bit now, just with the interaction of what you've just said.
It's there tomorrow. You all feel it, and you all go through it, and you understand it. And you?
Thank you, Mr. Keshe.
We had a question in the Q&A here from Steph, who says, you told that some people use the energy from the system and some use less, and that the UC members used zero energy. Is there a measurement on the unit which shows what the people use, or maybe give energy, or do you feel it on your own?
Both. Those of you who come to the center and you've been in the room, sometimes to some knowledge seekers I show, there are gadgets in the center of the room. We watch the traffic flow. Yesterday I was with one of our knowledge seekers. I enjoy working with him. It's a pleasure. It's amazing the things happens when he's around. And we were testing something together. He's not in Europe, he's outside. And I was walking around the units. I was explaining things to him, and he's beautiful. He's one of the souls I have a pleasure to work with. And while I was talking to him, I fell. And I went to pick it up. I was on one side of the unit. I could see right through the two units. And it was as clear as a day. That was normal. When I stood up, those of you who come to the center, you know what I'm talking about. There are like 4 levels of construction. It's like a tube. Between the 3rd and the 4th, which is a gap of about 40 centimeters plus, it was like a hazy, it was like a fog. I said, this is what's going on. I said to him, just wait, something is happening here. I bent down, I could see through clearly. I looked up in the middle section, it was a bit hazy. Looked on the top section, top between 3rd and the 4th level, and the other system in the background is in the mist. I moved out totally to look from the front to see the other system. It's nothing as clear as anything. It's clearer than the bottom. I looked. Now, I did this 10 times to make sure it's not an illusion. The plasmatic fields in the room has taken over.
The room is not clear anymore, and it's like a mist, it's like a cloud. If you've been on an airplane in big cities, sometimes you get the tip of the big buildings coming out of the cloud and the rest is white. It's a beautiful picture. You must have seen it somewhere. And it's exactly like this, but upside down. The top layer, the first 40 centimeter on the top, is misty. You can't see clearly through the room. This is the part where we hold all the information, all the energies, all the systems. And the thing is nearly 2 meters long. It's not one spot. Our team, I'm sure today, are there because they're making things ready for tomorrow. Don't switch the machines off. Leave everything on as it is and look into it. Look, they tell you. So the plasmatic fields has been established and is there. And even with me, who walks in there more or less every week, for the first time I saw it yesterday. And it is amazing how tomorrow when we add the cosmic rays to it, this thing will charge up. And we have the confirmation of the full plasma room. And it's beautiful to see it. And it brings what I always said, that you will not see the system. Yesterday, I could not see the other system 4 meters away clearly. When you come into the room, most of you always see a blue, dark environment. When I'm in the room, is a full, I don't know how many spotlights and floodlights on. There is no illusions. And yesterday, for the first time, we could see the development and the strength of the fields in the room. And because we always look at one level, we don't see it because it's all the same. But bending down and coming up from ground up, now we can see the plasmatic field building up to the top. And I'm sure our team are there today. It's good for them when they go in to test it, to see it. If you bend to the ground level and come up gradually to the top, you'll see the mist of the fields of the plasma creating to the top. We don't switch our systems off. The systems have been going from the beginning, more or less. And it will be amazing when we add the cosmic ray units, which hopefully be in next few weeks for the transportation, transmutation. I'm sure the building will glow. You're becoming part of that structure when you become part of the collection of the work tomorrow. We expect from tomorrow onwards that the Pope will resign. When I met the King of Belgium, when he made the threats on me, I said to him and the Queen of Belgium, I leave. You won't be king much longer after I leave. We left on February the 13th, 2013, with 3 suitcases and 1 car to Italy.
few months later, he abdicated. And he wasn't a king anymore. And then he was taken to the court for his misconduct of a adulterous life. And his own nation put a penalty on him. Tomorrow will be the same. But this time is not a man with 3 suitcases. This time is the humanity with the suitcase of his conduct for past millions of years. And the change will come. And no one can stop the process. No nation, no king, no president. Even if they switch off the internet, the souls are correct, and the connections will bring that to one place. Many kings will give their lives to be present tomorrow. But the only thing is they find out there are no tickets for abusive souls. Some of the enemies of the Keshe Foundation have enrolled, we know them, to be there tomorrow. But expect your soul to, in a way, change your life. You will understand. All of you who came to the center, all have you participated in that bit of cloudiness which is there, which is part of your energy you took, some you left, and is all there, purified and beautiful. We had a last session with 2 brothers from Taiwan a couple of days ago, and it was beautiful to see them. We were missing one part of a balanced equation which had to be balanced. And yesterday, this week, a couple of days ago, when these 2 brothers came, it just felt beautiful to be and to have both of them. We traveled from UK to be there for just a few minutes to bring that part of what we call balancing. And it's the joy they brought with them in the short time they were in the center and they left. It brought a lot of joy in the whole operation that it's beautiful to see how humanity is getting ready for that change. What is very interesting and very touches deeply is how in past few weeks we do not see any more Italians. And they came in a flood at the beginning. And in a way, their soul is ready for that separation of the Vatican and Christianity from Rome. And it's as their souls know. And as I called it, they brought the guy to put them in that position, as there could have been no addition from the Italians, as the church will break up and there'll be no sign of it left. And they know, the souls know, so they are not there anymore. They brought in very much like the Colosseum to build the Vatican. And now they know, the souls knew the time is there not to be there. As the change comes, and that'll be the end of the cycle. But they never understood. But they brought an element to do it for them. That was the most beautiful thing. They brought a guy who I call him, whatever you call him in English language, to do that job. And we haven't seen any more Italians, not a single one. As it was, they came to say goodbye for all the abuses which they brought to humanity in the name of the Italian Church. It's amazing how we watch the operation of the souls and how they knew and how they know what operations they make. Any other question?
Okay, good question from Saeed in the Q&A. Hello, Professor Keshe and Mr. Rick. Is this effect of elevating the soul in tomorrow's workshop permanent or temporary? One time, forever?
It's that Kindle. You know, when you want to start a fire, you start a Kindle. You just light a little thing, and then gradually it blows up, becomes a full fire. Tomorrow is that Kindle. And usually starts, and it has to start that way. Then it consumes the whole lot. The light, when you start a fire with a Kindle, the first spark and the first burn, you won't see that one anymore when the full fire runs. You can't look for it because now the totality comes. And tomorrow is that time. Solar Mehdi. The promise, the fire, whatever you call it.
Igniting the reactor ignition as well. You could look at it as that.
Yeah. Because this time you cannot prosecute, you cannot crucify, you cannot do banish, because this time is not one, it's a soul of totality. And the worst thing is that it sits within the structure. I said something very recently, if you understand it. It is in the writings of the messengers. And it says we took the love of God from the tribe of Moses for what they did to Christ. This is in Quran. Baha'u'llah wrote the same thing in a different way. With the same punishment. And it didn't work. But different tribes. In the time of Mehdi, we enlighten the whole souls that nobody is left and nobody is punished, but all become equal. And that means tomorrow, every single one of you come from different tribes, different races and religions tomorrow. And each one of you brings that candle to start the light. And this time nobody can stop. Oh, mankind will understand the significance of tomorrow. and gradually you'll understand the totality. Any other question?
Mr. Keshe, it's Dean here. So I've just tried a test with my phone. My phone's on in flight mode, and it works. So you can still get through, just so everybody can know that you can do this.
I know that we tested it.
I'm just confirming it. That's it.
But if you put your flight mode or airplane mode on while you're connected to the internet, it'll disconnect you. So you have to put on the airplane mode first, and then you can reconnect with your internet. Do it that way.
Most of the Apples and things do it automatic nowadays. You don't need to do it. It's done automatically. It finds the nearest post.
Yeah, except then when you put it on airplane mode, it cuts off your internet. So, but when you go on internet or airplane mode, then you can deliberately select your to turn on your internet again, so that you can make the call or whatever. I think there's also the do not disturb function that can work for that as well.
We'll see tomorrow.
And Mr. Keshe, it's the timing is definitely 12 CET. For
we start the session around about 11 o'clock to get everybody in, for people to fix their phones and get the things right. But if you come in 11:30, just test it, it's there, and go out and come back at 12 o'clock. It's all the same, because at 12 o'clock, nobody else will be added on. Once you allowed in, you go out, you stay on. Depends if you want to come at 11 o'clock, it's nothing but just click some whatever in the background, making sure, because you have to come in with your Zoom account. You cannot just come in and switch on, because you need to come with the Zoom account that it carries your email that allows us to let you in. And when you come in, we keep everything muted in the background till about 12 o'clock. We send a message to unmute, or you unmute yourself. And don't expect any razzmatazz. You could even walk in with total silence the whole 4 hours, not a word. And this is what and how it will be done. Maybe you get an introduction and everything else, but don't expect something you're used to in a human level, and somebody will come and do things. I know Rick has done a lot of these tests and practices in the recent. A lot of you who've been around with Rick and other bits, you know, I noticed American teaching last weekend, they do the same. So you have to start learning to be part of that soul, that silence of the ear of the man, I call it. But it's time when it's working, and there is no machine in the world who can record this. Man has not invented soul recorders yet.
Mr. Keshe, I'm sure I heard you say the 4 hours. So is this where time doesn't exist, and a few seconds could be a very long time, and vice versa?
All depends. We will monitor, and we decide on what to be and what time, when and how. It could be half an hour, it could be 3 hours. And then the sessions on Monday will follow. A lot of you who been on the session after Friday, you go to Monday session, then you find some connections. In so many ways, Monday sessions is
a confirmation of the Friday's work. Then you understand. So many ways, Monday sessions, the 5 sessions being chosen is very, 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 very special.
I did notice that, Mr. Keshe, where some people went into the system. It didn't always occur on the first instance. That was sort of like a balancing position, and then they tend to receive or start to be more, balanced, so that they could actually receive or give into the system what they needed.
It works. We're there. Monday sessions will be very, very interesting sessions for us to monitor the development of what happens since Friday with the souls.
So the physicality will experience something from those 2 time positions.
Silence. Any other question?
Is there an easy payment system from Africa? Hassan is asking in the YouTube here, and he suggested an app. Let me see, what was it called?
What payment? You can do it.
Wave, an app called Wave, which works in Senegal and Gambia. I know you've said before that Keshe Foundation can't set up a separate payment systems for every country of the world and so on. Is there any advice you could give someone from Africa?
Not really. We sorted the problem with like Brazil and Iran, and with China now we hopefully sort out that people cannot send money out so much. They pay their fees directly to the Keshe Foundation operation in the countries, and the process will come through that way. They just inform us of the emails and the things to connect, and the team in the background will connect at one time. With Africa, we don't have any operation that we can pay into.
Perhaps they could work through the Brazil team or some other team that they know about.
But this tomorrow, I think the line should have been closed by now. This process will take time, especially with Africa to join. We have the Russians who wanted to join, and there's no banking out of Russia at the moment.
Hassan mentions that if the foundation had a phone number registered to the app, then that's basically all you need in order for the transfer system to work. But I don't think you have a phone number that can be registered at this
point. It should be a local phone number, not an international number, I presume.
I think it can be international.
If you send a message to info@kfssi.org, we'll have a look at it. We have to find it so that everybody's there.
That's what I suggested, so that could work. Yeah,
we can work something out. We are going through the process, as you understand. A number of our operations and doctors are operating in different countries and using the technology, and number of people are benefiting by the new technology through the doctors in different countries. Yesterday, we had the pleasure that one of the knowledge seekers, who himself is using the technology through the operation for himself, has donated 4 seats or 4 places to the medical system for Parkinson. and he has donated 1 for somebody he knows, and 3 were given to the Freedom of the Keshe Foundation to allocate for 3 Parkinson cases. And we have offered the whole 3 packages of 3 people to the Iran National Operation of the Keshe Foundation, that the doctors in Iran can assess as a collective, instead of having them in different points and be random. We target 3 people with Parkinson in Iran, and the, what do you call it? The progress will be monitored by the doctors in Iran. That is not one random happening somewhere else, and then this data will be fed back into the operation of the, what call it, other doctors around the world and Keshe Foundation who work. We'll keep you posted. It's the same with the 2 children, 2 brothers. The doctors and the knowledge which comes from what they're gaining is amazing. And we already have started seeing, after 2 or 3 sessions, the beginning of the slight changes, but beautiful changes. And we'll see right across the, what do you call it, the work of our doctors. This way it's easy for us. We don't need to transfer anything. If you have a financial problem in sending money out to the Keshe Foundation, it's now resolved. And in your own nations, when we work, you contribute to the work of the Keshe Foundation in that nation. In a way, we do exchange technology in exchange for wellness, and allows the operations in each country to run smoothly, because now you're financing your own nation, not the Keshe Foundation as a headquarters type thing. Any other question?
Here's an interesting question. Hello, Mr. Keshe, can the hearing impaired do a session too?
I think it's the wrong question to ask. And a totally wrong question to ask. If you have such an impairment, you don't hear the work of the soul through your ears. So if you're deaf, blind, or whatever, you're working through your soul. You don't need ear to listen to or hear. It'll work the same for a layman as a king, as a deaf man, and a blind man, and a vision man. In the work of the soul, there is no impairment. So that should not be no worry for you if you're deaf or blind. Any other question? All right. I'm going to leave by 12 o'clock. I have to travel.
Okay.
Rick, it's Dean here. May I ask another question, please, quickly, Mr. Keshe?
Who asked you to ask the question?
Am I allowed to say?
Yeah.
We need to rebook for Monday. Do we need to go through the booking procedure again? And pay and everything and do this for the people? Okay.
We're seeing a rush of people in past 48 hours, people trying to book. I think the booking for the tomorrow session is closed, or will be closed in the next couple of hours. I don't know. But the booking for Monday will be closed on Saturday or Sunday, because you have to respond back to an email and then you have to be registered and all the work which goes with it in the background to be ready for Monday. Monday sessions are beautiful, but it adds to the work of the, what do you call it, knowledge on Monday.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Keshe. Will do. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
We have some confusion with Farzam in the chat, who mentions the email from KFM customer received to me at 13/12/2022, and the date of it is 11/12/2022, and both sender and receiver is KFM customer service. Is it okay?
What?
I don't know what he means by all that, so I would send a message off to info@Keshe Foundation. I would think to clarify it if he's not
clarify
sure.
if there is such a thing.
Okay. Okay, we have a couple of other questions, such as, with the millions of 5G towers around the world, how can the frequencies be changed for a healthier, positive outcome?
What frequency you want to change? The frequency of the 5G is matched to the system you carry in your hand. You cannot change it, otherwise your phone won't receive it. And these things are planned years and years ahead by those who are planning to do it. So everything has to match in all the countries and all the handsets and all the satellites. You cannot change any of it. It's planned years ahead. 3-4 years ago, yeah, I was in Sanya, as we used to live there, we used to be in China. And one breakfast, I noticed a couple of Iranians talking in a breakfast room. And I was talking to them. And they said they're in a conference for the next things after 5G, and this is an international conference from different operators and satellite people and governments, that everything gets matched. And they meet every month somewhere around the world. So what we see to come after 5G is already been working on 3-4 years. I know, I can imagine how many years before they start working. So sooner or later, there is something after 5G they're going to hit you with. And these things has to go that all the mobile phones can receive it, and all the satellites are tuning it and everything else, and they're training up people to be able to run it. So, not much you can do. Any other question? Shall we call it a day?
Yeah, I think we're getting close to your deadline there, so perhaps we should do that. And there might be a couple of straggler questions, but I think you pretty much covered it here.
So I'm looking forward to be there tomorrow and be part of the experience. And we shall see. Have a wonderful day tomorrow. I'm sure each one of you will take something beautiful from it. See you tomorrow and Monday and next week and the week after during the Christmas and New Year, we'll be still there. The overtime pay during the holidays is much better than during the year, I think. Rick and I can tell you that.
We've broadcast on, I think, every national holiday of every country of the world at this point, including Christmas, New Year's, and all of the rest.
And the religious holidays and the religious morning time, we have no limitation.
Yeah, that's right.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Keshe. Thank you for the opportunities that you're bringing forward here, and we look forward to participating in them as much as possible.
Tomorrow is a fascinating and a beautiful, special day. Let's see what we can bring about. Thank you very much, and see you next week, or see you tomorrow.
Okay, that sounds great. And for others that will not be present tomorrow, our next public teaching workshop will be on Tuesday, the 20th of December, which will be the One Nation, One Planet, One Race for World Peace and Justice. And that's with members of the Universal Council. And again, on Tuesday, December 20th, and that starts at the 4 p.m. Central European Time. Okay, I think that's it for announcements for now. Thank you, everybody, for attending today's 463rd Knowledge Seekers Workshop. And we'll go out with the Flight Enhancement Spaceship Unit music version. And we'll see you all in the next public teaching workshop or in the next flight workshop. Okay, bye for now.